been
see
there.
how your story isn't lining up, Scotty? First you said the bar
The bar.
refused you.
We were in
Now
the
you're
bar.
saying it
No,
wasn't
the
the
owner of
bar.
the bar.
It was
The owner of the
other
bar didn't tell us to
patrons.
leave. So if you
Everyone
walked
is
into
calling
if you
Cap,
walked into the
Scotty. We're
bar,
going to go to
if you
KB and
walked,
we'll come back to you. Get your story together. We'll go
You're
to
gonna call
KB.
it
my
cat.
story's
You're gonna
right.
call it cat
I'm
because
It's
his
sorry
fiction.
technicalities in
that
there.
hurt your
That's kind
feelings.
of invalidating,
It's
yo.
fiction. It's big
It's not
fiction.
fiction at all. I can even tell you I can even tell you what bar it was if you want to look it up.
All right, give us a second. We'll write. Let me get a pen and stuff ready. KB, while I get that pen ready, did you want to chime in?
I'm English and I struggle. I sort of wanted to come at this from a different angle, and I just think Scotty's an idiot. I don't really know how to have a conversation with someone like that. So I don't know how to respond to that. It was just so idiotic.
Give him an example, and he did. There's no like. He was responding to a question, so there's nothing for you to even input. That's his
Exactly, that's what I said.
experience.
I just said I think it was idiotic, and I've got nothing to say.
Okay, but that's an experience. You can't say an experience is idiotic. That's
But
a
that's my
literal
opinion.
experience.
You can't tell me what my opinion is.
Okay, your opinion's idiotic.
Okay,
All right,
I think
facts.
your opinion's idiotic. That's fine.
You just being chaotic. Facts. Go ahead, KB. We'll put you on pause for a second, and then let's hear what facts got to say. First, 1 second. Actually, it's not the fact. It's that we deal with real racism, right? Not this idea and philosophy of racism. That didn't stop
Okay, but
you in any real way. Your made up story, whether it's real or not, it didn't stop you
Go
from
girl.
doing anything in life. Did y'all
Wait,
go home and
I got
sleep?
something
Wait. Did y'all go home and sleep good at night? Scotty? Hey,
He's
I think
Scotty.
Scotty ran away.
Did you go home and sleep good at night, Scotty?
he's not here. You're asking a question to someone
You
that's
get
not
what I'm
here.
saying? Like, come on, man. Stop playing with us. Go ahead, facts. And then I
Did I
want to
go
hear
home and
back from
sleep good that
Anonymous.
night? No, I didn't go home and sleep good that night.
All right, well, put it on pause. Let me hear from facts.
Babe, I'm
so
gonna have
you're
to go to
gonna
sleep soon. Sorry, it's like 20 to 1.
fuck yeah, finally get you out to bed.
For sure, KB. Thanks for coming up.
All right, ta love. Have a nice day.
For sure.
Bye bye. Can you disconnect me? I don't know how to do it.
All good.
Thank you.
There was many things wrong about your definition of racism. First of all, I don't know what definition you were fucking saying. That shit ain't no
Hey,
in the Oxford Dictionary. That shit ain't in
buddy.
the Oxford Dictionary. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Hey, facts. Do me a favor. Let's watch our language because TikTok be on my head right now.
Okay.
Go ahead. You got it.
Hey, can I say something?
Yes. Let me hear from facts, and then we'll go to Anonymous, and then we'll hear from Arvin, and then that one.
Vex muted himself.
I muted because I'm like polite, but yeah, I do have a
Alright,
lot to say. Okay,
Let's go
first off,
point by point, facts. Do me a favor, facts. We're going to allow you to speak, but let's go point by point. You ain't got to go drill everything in because we'll give you the mic back. Go point by point. What's your first point? Go ahead, facts.
that the ISM doesn't necessarily mean political, isn't necessarily structure, which it is part of that, but there is another part of the word ism, which is belief, which anyone can, because anyone can have an ideology or a belief of race being a superior of a race. There is no political power in the individualized racism experience.
There is no. Repeat that last line one last time.
There is no political power. There is no systemic power that we need to experience racism.
Oh, okay. I disagree with that. For the simple fact that's what racism was built for, and that's what our institutions in this country was built on. And if we can name the time when that stopped occurring, when we switched race to mean something else other than what it was built on, then I don't think that you can validate that perspective at all in any way.
But the people, the blacks, the black people, I want to be very PC. I want to be PC. So the black people
No, you just don't
lives.
be derogatory and be a
Yeah.
basic human being, and you don't need a cookie for that. Blacks is a derogatory term, so go ahead.
So the black people's lives improved over time, right? And it got like equal-ish, more equal than in the past, right?
But you see how you're saying more equal, but not still. So
Because the systematic
we
racism
can't
still is
say
still in
that the
play.
power dynamic changed. You literally just proved my point.
Okay,
The power
no, you
dynamic
didn't.
has never changed. So thus
Answer my
for
question. It did the black people's lives improve over time?
the black lives, that's
Black
equalish, bro.
people's
Like you
life
literally just proved
improved
my
over
point for me,
time.
my guy. If you're saying, do you understand facts that
It's
if
a
you're
yes or
saying
no question.
equalish, that means that you still are being
It's a
honest
yes
with
or no
yourself on a
question.
point that it
It's a yes
has
or no
not
question.
created the change that needs to be met.
Did the black people's life improve over time?
But has the equity occurred?
Oh my god. Bro, yes or no?
Has the equity occurred?
Oh my god, that's not my question. Bro, stop asking my question with a question. Answer my question.
No. Has the equity occurred?
No, no. I don't know.
All right.
Did black
We'll
people's
come right
lives
back to
improve?
you. Arvin, no, go ahead. Go ahead. And then Arvin will go to you next. And then that one.
Answer the question. That's pretty intellectually indeduous or deduous or whatever. That's pretty
Disingenuous.
disingenuous. Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
I don't think so, but we'll come back to you.
How?
Facts. Arvin,
You're
let me
not
hear from
answering
you.
my question. Like it's a yes or no. How are
I
we gonna
said
like?
I said
How are we
no.
gonna like?
Based on, well, first we would
Oh,
have
you
to
said no.
establish what our metric for better is. Because to me, facts, if I serve you a plate with poo on it, right? And I expect you to eat it, right? Okay. And you say, well, this ain't right. And then you say this ain't right. You give it back to me. And I take 2 scoops off. Then I serve it
No,
back to
no,
you
that's a bad
with
analogy.
wait. And I serve it back to you with 2 scoops still on that plate. Am I
That's a
still eating?
terrible.
Am I still supposed to be eating the poo?
That's a terrible analogy
Nah, it's not. Let me hear
because
from
it's this.
Arvin.
You're just eating the same thing but with less. But that's a bad analogy because things have been outlawed because of things have been outlawed. Therefore, you're not getting that again.
Facts. Don't be you be genuine here. You said equalish. Let's hear from Arvin now.
Hello, Pizza. So I've just come in here to post an observation. Like, for example, Indians from India, they are brown, they are a minority, they face racism too. But how come they are the ones who are in top companies like Google, in top companies like Amazon, top companies like Booking.com, but we don't see black people there? They're still brown. You know, how come you don't see, you see Indians there, you see brown people everywhere, but you don't see blacks? That's the first thing. Second thing, you will notice that lots of black people from the hood, for example, from the from the ghetto, as soon as they get rich, they go live into white neighborhoods. Are they racist? Why do they do that? Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I think he said something about basically if black people pull
But
their pants up,
Indians,
they
like
wouldn't get
Indians are brown, and why are brown people in heading Google? If there was racism, these brown
Yeah, I
people
got you. I
wouldn't be
got you.
there.
White supremacy. I got you. I got you. I heard you. I just wanted to reiterate from my chat white supremacy, right? They wanted to, make sure we understood your premise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure, right?
I think people are very confused about like how much privilege white people really have. I think white people underestimate how much they have, and I think black people overestimate how much we have.
Let me get
I
this
think
right.
it's
So you
a,
think that
I think
white
it's a
people
misunderstanding on both sides.
overestimate the amount of white privilege that they have?
No, you got to no backwards. White people underestimate, like they don't know how much they have, and black people think we have so much. It's not. It's not that we don't have it. It's more like we don't have it to the extent that you're saying. or portraying.
You know what I would disagree with? I would disagree with the premise that we believe it's more, based on the fact that I don't believe a lot of majority of white people know what it is, because they only bring it down to an economic and materialistic base, and not just, even if we were to talk about psychologically in this country, it's something you don't have to deal with.
I was more thinking about like the racial profiling, like, stuff like that, and like, basically racial profiling is basically like the biggest one in society.
Well, how can you say that what's biggest for black people when you experience none of it? Wouldn't you
How do
think that
you
you
know
would
if you don't
listen?
have the
Wouldn't
privilege
you
of
think
the
that you would listen to the black people telling you what it is versus you making oddball assumptions for something you don't study and something you don't experience? Wouldn't it make more sense to listen to black people and actually take time to study what black people are talking about versus just basing your whole premise on what you assume to be true?
Well, it's not what I assume, it's what I know. This is
But
true.
how do you know that? Okay, pause for a second. How do you know that?
Well, I just took into consideration of like how many like false imprisonments like black people did experience on top of like the drug charges. Basically, the drug charges with the cocaine versus, or can I use that word? I don't know.
Just say
The
white girl.
cocaine.
Just say white girl or something like that.
Yeah, but there's okay. So it was like cocaine, and if you get it, you get it, and crack. Both were the
Okay, we
same,
can't
but
say
both
that
were
word
different.
either.
I know. It's a very hard word to like go away from because it's like, well, anyway, like both of those were different. One was pure and one was not. But but that's irrelevant. I'm sure you know that already. Now that I keep saying
I
it.
do know that.
What's
So
going
back to
on
my
here?
question. My question
We
is,
know that
you're
stuff.
saying you know just because you know. I'm asking you, what is your know based on? How
Oh,
do you know? You don't experience it. So how do you know?
oh, my brother was an anthropologist, and he gives me like random info, like I'm like he gives me info on stuff, and I ask questions about like terminology, psychology, because I was a psychology major too, but
So
that's
my
irrelevant.
question is, if you don't yourself read into this, not the knowledge of random people from fields that aren't what I'm talking about, if you don't study it, how are you basing your entire know, right? Because you know, on just random shit people told you. Who
Well, I
also the
also have
people who
basic
told wait. Also the people who
education
told
myself.
you it. Wait. Also the people who told you it on a macro level aren't the people who are studying the topic that you're getting the know or knowledge from. That doesn't make sense.
Kind of, because anthropologists. I don't need to get into that, but I also have a basic education on sociology as well, because I kind of needed to know for my psychology major. I needed
So
to
I think
have
that
basic
you
understanding
should
of
dive a
sociology.
little bit deeper into what race is, why it was
Well, I
created,
know what
and
race
how it
is.
works in society versus creating your entire perspective on things you
One
don't
thing,
experience and things you don't specifically study. Because you said everything else but what we're talking about. You don't study
no,
racism. You don't study white supremacy. You don't study colonialism and imperialism, which are all the foundations and roots in white supremacy. You don't study any of those things. And you don't experience the effects of anti-black or
but I can see
anti-indigenous.
it. I don't need to experience something if I have an understanding of what it
But you would
is,
have to study it to have that understanding, in which you don't. Let me
or
hear
life
from that.
experience.
But you don't
Pizza,
have a
could
life
you please,
experience. That's the point. Let me hear
But
from
no, but
that
I
one.
could see it. I could
Pizza, could you
see
please
it.
talk about what I asked? It seemed that you
One
completely
second,
ignore it.
Arvin.
Like,
Well, we already heard it. Let me hear from that one real quick.
Man, so that was like some serious bingo for me. And here's what I will ask you. Do you recognize how much bingo you just played? Because this is an important part of this learning process. Because if you don't know, then I highly recommend you look into dog whistles. And if you do know, then seems like you know what's happening. So I just want to make sure that we're in a place where we both recognize that things are happening.
Oh yeah, things are definitely happening. Like, and I'm not saying like, oh, black people got it good. Like, I never said that. I'm just saying like,
That wasn't the question.
white people feel racism.
Nope.
That's basically what I'm saying.
No, I'm
That's
just
the
asking,
whole I'm saying.
do you know what a dog whistle is?
No.
Okay. Well, then I think that this conversation is over your head. And it's
Well, why don't you just explain it to me rather than just assuming something that.
It's really important in honest conversations about ending and dealing with social, racial, ethnic, sexual issues.
I ain't gonna lie, that just sounds like a buzzword. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying is that if you don't know what a dog whistle is, then
Well, just explain it.
I'm not here to do your homework. We're trying to have an adult conversation.
Okay, well then I can reject what you're saying too then.
Behavior that's
Stop off talking at the same time. Hold on. Go ahead, which? I mean, that one?
Thanks. I just think that there's a difference, right? We can have a genuine conversation. We can absolutely talk about things that matter between this and on these kinds of subjects. But if there is fundamental vocabulary non-understanding, then you're not going to be able to see the behavior and the language being used to describe and deal with this problem. And it's not going to be useful for anyone in the chat to actually learn something unless they also don't know what a dog whistle is. Now, there's plenty of you in the chat that know what a dog whistle is and know what I am talking about. But if we're not going to be willing to admit that behavior is the behavior that it is, then there's no way we're going to get anywhere.
Wait, I don't see how this isn't,
because we're still pretending.
see how this isn't easier than just explaining what it is. Like, you might as well just told me what it was rather than going on a tangent about, oh, I'm not trying to do this.
Or to fix your lack of understanding about the vocabulary being used.
You're so funny. Your logic is hilarious.
There's a lot of feedback. Let me hear from Arvin real quick because I'm about to switch Arvin out. He said a whole lot of racisms. Let me hear from Arvin real quick.
Yes, I was just asking you, like, if there's really racism, why are top positions, like, for example, Google, Amazon, run by Indian people who are brown, if there was really racism?
Yeah, but I don't think that you're astute for this conversation right here, man.
Oh, why?
You're on a whole nother plateau in different universe. This is a whole different point.
Google is a brown person leading it.
White supremacy is global. Those deemed non-white being less than is a global phenomenon, right? Because of colonialism and imperialism, it was spread across. It was spread across the globe. I don't know, like this weird thing that you're trying to do, where you're trying to like tokenize or demonize Indian people, but it's not going to work here.
The CEO of Google is Indian.
No, that's okay. We don't want to do that. Can I hear from DJ?
Yeah, hey. I just wanted to talk to facts for a little bit. Your question about if the black community is better off now than then, that's really a disengagement. And I'm going to give you an analogy.
You cut out a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to give you an analogy, much like the host did. So, say if every day I come to your home and I beat you up, right? And I had to do it every day. And afterwards, I pee and defecate on you. Then one day I stop peeing and defecate on you, but I'm still beating you. Is that better?
I mean, technically speaking, I guess it is because you're not doing that on me and beating me up, but this is beyond the point. All it was a yes or no question.
No. That is the exact point. That is the exact point. It isn't better because you're still getting beat up. And what we're looking for is equality, is for that not to happen at all. And where you're coming from, you're a little ignorant to the history, and I think your cognitive dissonance is really, really messing with you right now, and you're trying to fight that.
I have 1%. But yeah, so I guess I'm gonna. Is black people getting treated better now than